Good afternoon, teacher. Thank you for accepting to be interviewing. The current interview is about difference in use the same language. It will not take more than 5 or 10 minutes. Can we start, teacher?
Yes, we can do it.
The first question is how you can differentiate language from dialect.
Well, to start off, we must understand what a language and dialect is. A language is a system of communication. It can be written or spoken with grammar rulers. For example, the English, Spanish, German, French, any another language in the world. A dialect, on the other hand, is something that we can call language variation, because it a change that we can cause is a language normally get influenced by our region, status, and another things. Now, if I were to find a difference of relationship between these, I would say that the language is a combination of many dialects of certain regions. And dialects are slang variation that we in consciousness make it when speaking and writing. For example, a South American won't express himself as a North American word, but that word means it knows English anymore.
Thank you, teacher. Next question is how you can define morphology.
To put it simple, morphology is a branch of linguists that studied word structure, morphemes, in other words. They study the smallest unit of language. There is an example that I always mention, and that's the letter S. Is a letter that represents that something is plural, but can it be the root of the prefix? Well, those are things that morphology studies.
Thank you, teacher. Next question is how you can define syntax.
Well, syntax is the opposite of the morphology. It doesn't study the smallest unit of language. It studies the grammatical structure of words and phrases that create sentences that make sense. Every time I think of syntax, word order pop-ups in my head. It's not the same, the boy plays nice, oh, nice boy plays there, oh, I like running, and running I like. So, that is the question. You mean, analyze what is the syntax.
Thank you, teacher. What is the common way in the dialect and language vary? The options are pronunciation, spelling, and sentence information.
That's simple. It's option A, pronunciation.
Can you provide an example of dialect variation based on the option you just chose?
Well, there's a clear dialect variation here in Ecuador. When we compare it in the three regions, we're talking about Costa, Sierra, Oriente. People in La Costa tend to confuse the sound letter Y with the sound letter double L, in Spanish called L. Here in the highland, talking about Sierra highland, we add ito to everything and so on and so forth. For example, if you say despacio, with this add in English, say ito, say despacito. That is the pronunciation taking the geographic location.
Thank you, teacher. The next question is, what is the most reason of dialects to vary? The options are geographic location, economic status, and educational status.
Okay, simple. Is the option A, geographical location.
Can you provide any example of dialect variation based on the option you just chose?
Well, I think a clear example in how Northern American sound totally different from Southern Americans. And I think it's because they are totally separate and do different things. You will never hear city folk using the word howdy or cowboy saying rush hour.
Thank you, teacher. Taking in account English languages, can you tell even exists difference regarding pronunciation, spelling, and sentence information between British and American English?
All right. When we're talking about pronunciation, Americans tend to drop the letter sound T, put more emphasis in the letter R, and usually don't pronounce the vowels sounds. Plus, they use more contractions. British tend to put lot emphasis on the letter sound T and drop the R and elongate the vowel sound. That is a pronunciation example. When we're talking about spelling, they use a different tense ways. Americans tend to use ed to the endings. British tend to use the T ending. For example, burned, they speaking Americans, and burnt, speaking the British. When talking about the future, Americans tend to use will, and the Brits shall. Sometimes words that are spelling different as like color, and the British people say color. The American people say mom. The British people say moon. When we're talking about sentence formation, the American English generally uses the present perfect tense, have and has plus past participle. Far less, the speaker of British English, as samples, say, Jenny felt ill. She ate too much. So the British say it in that way. The American say, Jenny feels ill. She's eaten too much. So you can see the difference. They use it when we're talking about she are eating something. The Americans say ate. The British say eating. Another example is when you're talking, the Americans say, are they going to the show tonight? Are they going to the show tonight? The British people say no. They already saw it. That is some points. Another, for example, the American people say, are they going to the show tonight? The British say no. They have already seen. If you check it, the British people use it, the verb saw, and the British people, and the American people say sing. That is a sample for the sentence formation.
Okay, teacher. Thank you. The next question is, taking account the Spanish language, can you tell and exists difference regard to pronunciation, spelling, and sentence information between coast and Sierra region speakers?
Yeah, sure. How we're talking after about the region in Ecuador, we're talking about three regions, right? We're talking about Costa, Sierra, Oriente. When we're talking about Sierra, we're gonna call highlands. Do you know what I mean? Highlands, Sierra. Okay. The people from the highland Sierra speak slow and calmly, while the people in the coast speak fast and strongly. And they have a conversation are full of expression that only natives understand.
Okay, teacher. The final question is there any other dialect variation that you can tell how it happens?
Yes, of course. There is a language variation that is caused by the professionals. It's a special type of code that only they can understand the professional user. For example, the police and their special codes, like a semaphore, confinement. It's called jargon.
Thank you, teacher, for answering my question. See you again. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.